Hi, everybody. Welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. Saturday today, and I missed you guys on Thursday, but my husband and I went and did something really exciting. We went and bought a new car. So we kind of had fun, and I didn't get home in time to do my live. And I have to say that even when I got home, I was a little wound up. I don't buy a car every day. So anyway, so I missed you on Thursday. And on Thursday, I was going to do my thank you cards. So every month, if you put an order in with me of $50, I send you a make and take kit with 3 cards. So at the end of each month, I share the cards for the next month. And if your order is $75 or more, I include a package of embellishments. So I'm going to do those cards today, and I'm going to use a suite that I haven't used to this point. It's called Wildly Flowering. The paper is absolutely stunning. Of course, all Stampin' Up! Paper, I think, is absolutely stunning. This reminds me of the Fresh as a Daisy or Cheerful Daisy suite that we had. The paper has the same colors to it. I think that's why it reminds me of it. So that's what I'm going to use for this set of 3 cards. And then the dies in this, I hadn't opened them. They actually are, they have some amazing kind of label dies that you can use with all sorts of cards. All right, I'm going to switch over and we will get started. So this suite is on page 40 and 41 of the catalog. So look at these gorgeous, gorgeous cards. And then, like I said, I'll show you this paper. It's really pretty. The colors: Wild Wheat, Mossy Meadow, Misty Moonlight, Moody Mauve, Early Espresso, and Crumb Cake. So some really lovely color combinations are possible. Okay, let's put that there. So this is the bundle. It's a rubber stamp, and so it's got these lovely images for flowers. It's kind of like a splatter, some really pretty sentiments, cursive font. These are the size that they are. So not really possible to do much coloring, but you could try and do a little bit of coloring. I'm going to keep it pretty simple on these cards. And then look at these gorgeous dies that you get. Of course, you have the dies that will cut the images out. And then you've got, oopsie, a frame. Where did that? Let's get that out. There we go. All right, so this cuts out. Let me show you what it cuts out. It cuts out 2 pieces. So a great way to create a frame in 2 pieces that you could pop up the middle piece. I could use it like this, or maybe I'll use it like this. Just lovely. Oh gosh, I love to make these kind of frames, and they're always so hard to do if you have to use 2 dies together. This makes it so easy. And then this one cuts the same thing. I have that cut here somewhere. Let's find it. Here it is. I cut this one in white, basic white. And so this die cuts out 2 pieces as well. So you can have this scallop frame as well with the hexagon piece in the middle. So that's great. And then you've got this one small one that you can just use. That just is a standalone die. So really pretty. Some great uses for, you can use these dies for all sorts of projects. And then look at this paper, just absolutely stunning in the Misty Moonlight. It's got some, looks like boho blue, copper clay, wild wheat, Moody Mauve. Trying to decide. It's hard to decide for me which is my favorite. I think it might be this one with the crumb cake background. And then another Moody Mauve. And on the back, just a little bit more subtle. Some plain ones kind of with a texture to them. Wild Wheat. Really pretty with just kind of background images on them. And then this one that looks like crumb cake textured. Really pretty. Okay, so that's the paper. Let's see. The other part of the suite, be hard to see this maybe. I've already gone ahead. This is called Dashing. I've forgotten. Dashing Pattern, maybe? Trying to look it up quickly. There it is. It is called Dashing Designs. Close. And so you can see that's the pattern that you get when you emboss that. So I've embossed this card front using the embossing folder that is in the catalog or with the suite. And then the last part of the suite are these. I've used these before. These are the textured dots. And so they're little metallic dots with a bit of textured dots on them. And that's so I'm going to use. That's hopefully, if they're available, those are the embellishments that I will send if your order qualifies. Okay, so let's make some cards. So the first one, I cut a piece of Misty Moonlight 4 1/4 by 11. And then I went ahead and embossed the front using that embossing folder. And I'm just going to take and gently, I don't want to kind of flatten that pattern. I'm just going to use my bone folder on that score line. So the way I did this, if you have never done that before, is I just scored my cardstock at 4 1/4, and then I inserted the end, inserted in one end to my embossing folder. If you had used 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, you would have done the same thing. It's just it would have gone in from the side, and then you run it through, and just tuck your, if you need to, just tuck your paper underneath it, and that will make it easy to run through your embossing folder. So this is the first card we're doing, and then I'm going to use this. So I'm going to use this pattern. When I cut this out, I actually didn't realize that it cut into 2 pieces. So I think I'm going to use the Designer Series paper, the pattern side, as the frame, and then this as the main piece, and then we're going to do some stamping. So let me just get my pieces separated out here. I kind of lost a... All right, well, hopefully you've got enough basic white. I need a piece of basic white for the inside, and then I need a piece of basic white to do some stamping on. All right, so like I said, I'm going to keep it pretty simple with these cards, and I'm going to just stamp the flowers. So I'm going to stamp this flower and then cut it out using the die. And then of course we need a sentiment, so I will use, because I always do thank yous, we'll use the thank you sentiment. Looks like a dynamite, a dandelion. To me, maybe not. It's kind of the flowers are a little different than a dandelion flower. Kind of has that snowball shape there. Okay, and now let's take and stamp the thank you on this scrap. There we go. Okay, and then we need something on the inside, so let's just take and stamp this on the inside again. There we go. Keep it pretty simple. If you get one of these kits, you'll either, if this bundle is on your shopping list, you can use this bundle, of course, or you can use, hey Kathy, welcome, or you can use a bundle that you might have already and stamp and die cut with it. So I'm just going to use a little piece of Post-it note tape to hold that in place like that. And then I was hoping I could use my mini machine. So let's just cut this piece in half, this piece of basic white in half, so it'll fit in my mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. All right, we'll need that in a minute. Okay, so let's bring this back in. So I'm going to keep that like that. I'm going to adhere the frame part flat, just easier than trying to put dimensionals on this piece. And then we'll pop up the middle section, just a little bit of glue. get it roughly in the center. There we go. There we go. Okay. And then we'll put dimensionals on this piece. So let's use, this is a sheet of mini dimensionals, but I'm almost to the end of it. So let's use some of those up. In the middle, we need some more. And then we can add some, I like using all my scraps of dimensionals up. It's kind of a game for me. That's to see if I can actually use all the bits up. Okay, there we go. So we're going to pop that up in the center just to give it a little bit of height to it. And then like that. Okay, and then I'm going to fussy cut my thank you. So I just take and hold on to it and steer with the paper, not the scissors. If you followed me, you know that I love to fussy cut my sentiments. Okay, and then need some mini dimensionals. Okay, let's pop that. Actually, before we pop that up, no, I was going to do some, I'll put some linen thread on in just a second. So let's just kind of put that like that. And that like that. And then I grabbed some linen thread because I think these colors go well. The linen thread kind of goes nicely with these neutrals. So let's just tie a bow. Doesn't need to be that big. Like that. And then glue dot. So if you get one of these kits, like I said, you'll use your own stamp set. If you have this one, you can use this one, or you can use any stamp set and dies that you have at home. And you can do whatever you want. You get make and take kits, but it's really up to you with what you do with them. You can make your own cards, just use the supplies to make cards with your own ideas, or you can use the ideas that I've come up with in this for them. Up to you. That can go on the inside, and then the last thing we need is to add some of these gorgeous textured dots. Oops. Take the cap off. So they come in 2 sizes. So we'll add, like I usually do, add 3 of them on there. So that's the first card. So I think it's really pretty, just kind of simple, and let the designer series paper and the stamps. If you want to, and I could try that, you could put some Wink of Stella on the flowers just to see if that sometimes just kind of brightens it up a little bit. Might move the ink around a little bit, and that's okay. There we go. There we go. Now you guys can't see that, but add a little bit of shimmer to the flower. Okay, so card number 1. So now let's find, after I unbury all of my things that I have going on here. Okay, so I've got a piece of Moody Mauve. I love Moody Mauve, depending on where you live. And we've got a piece of Basic White. And then I cut that. That's for the inside of the card. That. Okay, there we go. All right, I think I've got all the pieces. So I cut the Moody mold 5.5 by 8.5, and we're going to score it at 4.25. And we'll fold, as always, fold into the mountain or the raised line. And use your bone folder if it hasn't hidden under some cardstock. Okay, and then this piece of basic white is 4 inches by 5.25. And then I cut a piece of Misty Moonlight that was 2.25 by 5.25, and then a piece of the Designer Series paper that is 2 inches by 5 inches. So we're going to glue this piece. This is my favorite, I think. Could change. Okay, that will go on like that. I'm going to put this one just here, but I wanted to get one of the small. So I'm going to stamp this little flower image. And where's my thank you? So that's not going to fit. Okay, that's fine. I had it in my mind that thank you was going to fit down there, but it's not, so that's okay. And we'll use Moody Mauve, or we'll use Misty Moonlight again. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. There we go, put it there. And then this can go on like that. And I'm just going to leave a little bit of a gap there, so there's just a little bit of white showing on the edge. Moody Mauve and Misty Moonlight. Pretty color combination, I think. All right, and we'll do a stamp that says sending happy thoughts. All right, I have to use this big one. I wonder if I can. There's a piece. I always test my sentiments out on grid paper just to see. Oh, pretty good. Okay. To see how they line up, because I'm often very lazy and I don't put my labels on them. I don't know about you. I don't know why that seems to be a problem for me, but I don't put labels on my stamps. I should. Now I'm going to just trim this a little bit. So I'm just putting this piece in and going to take just 1/8 of an inch off each side, or there, actually, sorry, not 1/8 of an inch. Oh, yes, it is 1/8 of an inch. Get my lines mixed up. Just so it's a little bit narrower than what it was. Now, this one I am going to, I'm going to take my linen thread and I'm going to wrap it around, not my full palm. I don't want it quite that big. A couple of times, cut it off. And then I'm just going to take, and with a little bit of Stampin' Seal, put that there, like that. And we'll put this on with dimensionals. When you've got a piece that is quite wide and long, make sure that you stagger your dimensionals so that it doesn't wobble in the middle, or it doesn't wobble and then doesn't sag in the middle. Make sure you've got some in the middle. Like that. And just center that a little bit. There we go. And then the last thing, let's use some more. I take your picks tool is somewhere under the pile of things that I have going on to the side. A friend of mine calls that a scavenger hunt every time she goes to look for stuff that's missing. All right, we'll just put that one there. Okay, and then we need a piece of this, and I cut a piece. This was just a scrap. I always save my scraps of designer series paper, so this is just a scrap of that same DSP I used for the front. I cut it 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4, and I don't know, I turned that. I'm not sure there's a right side and a wrong way for this, but I turned it because I thought that flower needed to go at the top. And then that's for the inside. Always put something on the inside of the card, whether it's a piece of designer series paper or something stamped. That way, when I go to send this card out, it's finished on the inside and all I have to do is write a note. So there we go. There is card number 2. Okay, last card. Let's pull the supplies out from underneath my pile of things. I think that's everything. Okay, so this one, I'm using this gorgeous piece of designer series paper. Love that. So we're going to use copper clay for the base, and so this is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and we'll score it at 4 1/4. And as always, fold into the mountain or the raised line and give it a good burnish. So that's going to go on like that. And then I showed you this frame that it cut. So the scallop frame, and I cut that out of basic white. That's going to go for the inside. There we go. And for this one, I'm going to stamp right on here. And I think I'm going to use that that same stamp I used on the first card. And I'm going to stick with Misty Moonlight just because it's such a pretty color and it works well with this card. So we're just going to take and stamp that on there like that. And then I do need a sentiment. So let's take and stamp that thank you sentiment again on that scrap. And then I've got some designer series paper for the inside of the card. Okay. So we're going to adhere this piece like that. All right, so I'm going to use the mini dimensionals. And if I can find my take your pick tool, which I don't seem to be able to. All right, we've got some scissors. I always find it hard to get these mini dimensionals off, so I usually use the piercing end of my take your pick tool. So I'm going to just use these, and I'm not going to put them on every little scallop, but maybe every third scallop going around, just to pop this up a little bit. So on the first card, I popped the middle up. This one, we're going to pop the outside frame up. If you have, you'd waste a fair amount unless you wanted to pop both up. I was going to say you could use your adhesive foam sheets and cut that out using the dies. Or you could use the foam strips and just adhere them around. But these mini dimensionals work well too. Let's get the backing off of them. So it's kind of a dreary day here on the West Coast. I don't know what it's like where you are. So it's a perfect day. Like I said, I haven't actually been up in my craft studio for a couple of days. And so today's the day. I got it cleaned up because I have a class tomorrow, and I have some friends coming over to do some stamping in the afternoon. So I had to do some cleaning. There we go. Isn't that a pretty frame? And then we're going to just take and insert that in, and we're going to glue this flat. And you can just kind of take and tuck that and press it down like that. Hold it in place. And then I will take, I'm not going to cut this out like I did on my first one. Well, maybe I am, because I certainly didn't get it very straight when I stamped it. If I had gotten it a little straighter, I probably would have just kind of cut a rectangle around it. But I will fussy cut this. If you're not into fussy cutting, you can use a punch, you can use a die, or you can just cut a rectangle. So we're going to do that. Use these mini dimensionals that I have out. Come on. Oopsie. That one went down before I wanted it to go down. And then that, like that, pop that up. And then let's add, just, I'm going to tie a little, hopefully a little tiny bow with this linen thread. The other ribbon or thread that would go with this is the jute. It's quite thick, and so when I use the in color jute, the one that it really coordinates beautifully with these paper, I usually open up the strands, kind of split the strands so that it's not so thick. It's much easier to tie. Just put a little bit of glue there. Usually I use a glue dot, but that would be quite big and might show. There we go. Just hold that until it sticks. Yeah, so when I use the jute, which would work beautifully with this suite of products, I take the jute and split the strands apart, because it is quite thick and it doesn't really tie nicely. And if you're using it like I did on that card where I kind of wrapped it around my hand, it really is very thick. So just kind of split it. Take the end of take your pick tool and divide it into the I think it's 3 strands that it is. So that was a piece of Designer Series paper that I cut 3/4 of an inch by 4 inches for the inside of the card. And then the last thing we need, which of course have disappeared, there they are some of these textured dots. Oops. One there. Come on. I will find my take your pick tool when I'm done, no doubt. Let's put that down there. Take your pick tool is much easier than these scissors because I'm having a hard time grabbing. There we go. Okay, so there are the 3 cards that will be part of the thank you kit for June. So if you place an order with me in June for $50 or more, you will get the make and take kits to make these 3 cards. And if you order $75 or more, you will get the embellishments that go with it as well. So yeah, if you're interested in that, you can put an order in. It's June today. Can you believe it? We're already in June. Just don't know where the months go by. They go by so fast. My mom and dad used to say that, and I think as a kid I laughed at them when they said that. I didn't understand it at the time. Maybe you're the same way, but now I understand the days go by so fast. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me today. Now I'll be live again tomorrow at 12 noon with another project for you. Starting next week, I'm changing up the times that I'm going live through the week. My Saturday and Sunday will stay the same at 11 and 12 Pacific. But starting on Tuesday, I will be live at 6:30 p.m. with a sketch challenge. And then on Wednesday, I will be live at 6:30 p.m. With a technique. I'm going to not do the Thursday live, except for the end of the month when I do my thank you cards. If I manage to get it done, and I'm not, something else doesn't come up, because that's what happened on Thursday. So come and join me at a little bit later time. I know that will work better with some people that responded to the survey that I put out. So hopefully you'll be able to join me. And if you can't, you can watch me on the replay, either on my Facebook page or on my YouTube channel. All right, everybody, thanks so much for joining me. Hope you have a great Saturday. Happy stamping. Bye.